Okay, so this video is completely unscripted. There's no script for it. I am just speaking on behalf. I have nothing in front of me. I'm speaking about Peppermint Park and my absence from the community and of the activism defined volume 6/7. My last real activity was, at least in the Discord group and on YouTube, I would say around July of 2017, where that was when Peppermint Park Volume 6 was found. I believe it was around that time. Um, that was when Pumpkin Miriam claimed that she would upload it in November. If you're watching this video right now, it's not up. I don't know why. I did reach out and ask. I'm going to get to that later. But recently, I got back into the Peppermint Park community. I had the Discord chat up for the longest time, and I was never answering it. I started to get posts, actually with me getting tagged in it, and private messages. So that was when I'm like, oh, well, maybe I should look at these. I haven't had the chance to look at all of them yet. I've only looked at maybe one or two so far. So if I haven't gotten to see yours yet, I'm sorry. Um, so let me get into as much discussion as I can between July and now, which, as of time of this recording, is January 21st. So you're looking at a few months. Okay. So in July, Pumpkin Miriam mentioned that she had Peppermint Park Volume 6, which most of us were excited about, and she said it would be uploaded in November. At that time, I made an offer for her for, I believe it was roughly anywhere between $50 to $100 for the VHS. I did not get a reply. She said she wanted to hold on to it after she did reply. So I agreed. I'm like, okay. During the month of July, I looked on eBay to try to find it, and nothing came up. So I went back and looked for John Horton. I tried to find any information I could to figure out maybe if he can get into contact with me. So I believe it was July 7th. No, it was July 20th that I said that I was going to reach out to him and send a letter. So right before I had a letter set up, it was about 3 pages long, handwritten. When I went to send the letter out, I looked online on Zillow. Turns out his house was sold the day before. So July 19th, his house was sold. So there was no point in me sending it over. If he already closed out the house, that means that most likely he's not living there, and any mail would just be redirected or wouldn't be sent at all. So I did a little bit of research, and I did find a relative of John Horton's. I'm not going to give the name or anything, but it was a relative. And I did reach out to this relative around July 21st or July 22nd, I would want to say. The uh, the relative did reply, and I mentioned that we were a community of about 30 people at the time, with more to obviously grow, and we had potential to grow, and that we would want to see any or even hear any information about Peppermint Park Volume 6 or 7 or anything. Well, it turns out that when I was back and forth with this woman, as soon as I mentioned that we were interested, and as soon as I mentioned the numbers of how many people we had, she stopped replying. So there was nothing more I could really do. I did message about August of that year, 2017, and I did say, can you please, let us know if John Horton's not interested? Please just tell me. And around this time, I was already pretty much out of the Discord group. I started to distance myself from it, not for any negative reasons, only because life got in the way, and I couldn't get. I really had no information to give out, so I was pretty much at a lockout point. Um, Prior to August, though, I did find the alternative art for Peppermint Park Volume 3, which was interesting, but other than that, I had nothing else to really go by. So September and October rolled around, and it was heading towards Halloween. I opened up the Discord chat to see what people were saying. A couple people were saying, "Oh, I hope Pumpkin Miriam releases it on Halloween. That would be so cool." And I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to ruin anybody's hopes. But I had my doubts that she would upload it. The reason being because there was no real updates past July, and we were already rolling into October. So October rolled around and November rolled around. By the time the end of November rolled around, I saw the post saying she still didn't upload it, and I got a few comments on my YouTube videos asking where it was, and I'm like, well, I don't know this person personally, so I can't answer that. So it's not like this is my friend who I can just immediately call and be like, hey, when are you gonna upload this? I can't do that because I don't know this person. So I around November I did reach out to the relative one more time. I mentioned that the community was growing at the time outside the Discord chat, and I didn't really do approximate, but based on YouTube comments and everything, the level of interest did increase around December, around November/December. So I did ask again, and I mentioned that based on a ratio, we could have about 50 people pretty soon. I never got a reply. So at this point, it was kind of like, well, there's not much I can do. Every now and again, I was checking eBay. Usually once a week, I would check eBay. I checked the sold listings and I checked active listings, of course. Around this time, there was a Peppermint Park Volume 1 VHS. It was about $15. I didn't bother with it because I already own the first volume. So it's pretty much like a go for it if you want it. I stopped around there because once I didn't get into contact by a third time, I felt like it was pretty much hopeless. He obviously moved. I don't know where. I didn't bother to message Dan O'Quinn about anything because I didn't want to get him involved. And he left John Horton on good terms. I don't want to ask him anything like that. So I pretty much didn't really do anything much after that. December rolled around. December I was really busy, obviously because it's the Christmas season. Around that time, I checked in on eBay. I didn't find anything, so it was pretty much like there's not much I can do. However, there was a YouTuber. I don't remember his name. It was a user who had uploaded a quote-unquote demo tape of Peppermint Park Volume 2. Now, the tape is interesting because it was found on a site called Oldies for $2.99. However, the seller's selling it for approximately $50, which, I mean, it's not unreasonable, but it's not great. I saw that it was recently sold for about 30 something dollars, so power to you if you own it. However, I could say that when I saw the video, I breezed through it to see if there was anything I could find that I could upload and talk about. Unfortunately, there was really no content that I could find. I do plan on, if I could get a copy, I'll probably re-upload it and just use my tape, but we'll see how that goes. The tape pretty much just consists of segments from volumes 1 through 5, and it just says like, oh, tune in on next time at Peppermint Park, something like that. It doesn't really give us anything to work with. However, it is interesting. It's like, oh, it's cool. There's a preview tape. I'm curious if there was any others. I'm wondering why it took the volume 2 cover art. However, it shows segments from all 5 volumes. I mean, they could, if I were them, I would maybe just use a little, I would use a different cover, but hey, you do what you can. So that happened. Around January, which is right around now, so January 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, the first week, obviously, I went onto YouTube and I was looking. I usually check Peppermint Park and I check the most recent uploads to see if anybody had found anything. Nothing was really found except somebody made a review about Peppermint Park, which, it's pretty cool. If you're going to make a review, go for it. I'll leave a link for it in the description. I didn't get the chance to watch it yet. I just saw that my name was in it, so I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. Past there, we're now into January. It's now January 21st, and I can say that nothing has really changed. There is currently, I mean, if you're interested, there's a Peppermint Park Volume 1 again on eBay, going for about 20. 2 copies of Volume 2 for about 50 on Amazon. And that's pretty much it. it is unfortunate that it's harder to find Volume 6 and 7, and it is unfortunate that Pumpkin Mary has still not uploaded anything. Um, I do hope. I did actually reach out to her on Twitter. I should have mentioned that. I reached out to her on Twitter 2 days ago, and I did ask, could you please upload it? I did not get a reply, so something tells me that she's not going to upload it. I did also ask, I said, if you're not going to upload it, would you be willing to at least let me borrow the VHS or even buy it? Because I mean, I want to show it to you guys. I don't even know what's on it. So I mean, my thing is just I'm more of like a completionist. So I feel like when something is not complete, it's like I have to constantly try to get it done. And like for example, I'm big on collecting like video games and cards and things like that. Um, to make a connection here, I actually just finished going through my old Dragon Ball GT Super 17 cards, and I was missing 10 cards in the set, and now I'm like scrambling around to try to get them. Or the Zatch Bell card game, if you ever heard of that. I'm trying to get all 4 series in English. So, I mean, for me, not seeing Peppermint Park Volume 6 and knowing it's out there bothers me because it's like, I want it to be complete. I want you to see it. Now to go into my future plans for this channel, because as you can tell, there's really not a lot of content uploaded. I do have a second channel that I've been using for other content. Over the summer, I tried doing a video game channel. It was no, I couldn't keep up with it, and I had no real. I didn't have a way to branch it out, and it died within 2 videos. Past there, I tried getting into collectible card games, but I didn't see myself wanting to upload videos, so I left those to the side. So with this channel, it's kind of hard to determine what I want to do with it. I mean, obviously, I want to try to keep up with it, but it's like there's nothing I can work with here. And I mean, I was recently on the Lost Media Discord group, and they found the Clockman video, which is interesting because I donated $50 to them during the summer, and I did request. I'm like, can we help getting from? Can we get help? Sorry, can we get help for Peppermint Park Volume 6? Half the people had no idea what I was talking about, so that sucks. Um, in terms of the channel, like I'm trying to finish saying, I do want to keep the channel for Lost Media, but it's just like, where do I go from here? I have no leads on Peppermint Park. If you have one and you know something, you can leave it in the comments. Or maybe if you have Volume 6 or 7 or whatever you might own, even if it's just a random tape like the guy who had the preview, go for it, upload it. I just hope that Peppermint Park does get completed someday. And until then, I will keep trying. I'll keep trying to keep up with not only the Discord chat, but also news on Peppermint Park. And the guy who made the new chat group for Peppermint Park, I will be joining. I keep putting it off. I have to get to it. Because I will put the video in that description. But until then, I do hope that we can find at least something. Before I end this video, I do have one more update that I'm meaning to bring up. For the past couple of weeks, I have been working on the history of Peppermint Park. I am planning on doing a bit of a documentary on the series from its premise up until now, based on everything we know. And I do hope to get in contact with a couple of people to speak about it. But until then, we'll see where it goes. Later.